In this lesson, we will cover questions from Unit 6, Section 6.1, Slope of a Line. Question 1. Determine the slope of this line segment. In order to determine the slope of a line segment on a graph, we'll have to use the method rise over run. So as you can see on the graph, there is already 2 indicated points for us. We can use those or choose another 2 points on the line segment, but we're just going to create our right triangle from those points A and B. So slope now will be rise divided by run. So our rise will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So rise is 6, run would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have to look at the line segment itself. Does it increase or decrease? So it moves down, starting from the left to the right. So that's going to give us a negative. Now this here, rise over run, is actually not one of the responses. But you always have to keep in mind that when we find slope, we have to put it in the simplest terms. So we're going to divide the numerator and the denominator by 2 here, which will result in negative 3 halves. And our solution will be B. Question 2. Determine the slope of the line that passes through points A, 1 and 2, and B, 3 and 6. This one's a little different. It's not on a graph already, so we can't use rise over run. However, we will use the slope formula, which is y2 subtract y1 divided by x2 subtract x1. So I'm just going to let my slope be represented by m, because that will be what slope is going to be in our linear equation when we study that a little later. Now, so we're going to have to somehow identify which one will be x1 and which one is x2 and so on. So I'm just going to let my first point be x1, y1. It's always nice to identify those so you don't get confused in the equation. So slope equals y2 subtract y1, so it's 6 subtract 2. And then x2 subtract x1, which is 3 subtract 1. So our slope, 6 subtract 2, is going to give us 4. 3 subtract 1 is 2. Again, we don't want to leave that as our answer. We want to write it into the simplest form. 4 divided by 2 will be equal to 2. So in this talking about the slope of this line that passes through the points A, 1 and 2, and B, 3 and 6, we have a slope of 2. That will result in a positive slope and a positive increasing line segment. And if we had to discuss this in terms of rise over run, we would have a rise of 2 and a run of 1.